What's up, y'all? Welcome to another review by Ryan, and a very happy Monday to all of you. It is Monday, March 13th, and I hope you all are doing well wherever you're at in the world at the time you find this reaction. So in this reaction video, I'll be reacting to the 10th episode of the second season of Spectre, and the title of today's episode is Uninvited Judge, and I find that title very interesting, being that that was a big question I had. Was Kyokou or Associates going to bring in another party outside of just her that might be a little more relatable to the two children and the grandchild than Kodakou's presence? Because as you all saw and as we unveiled throughout the episode last week, almost immediately after this investigation started, we ran into a pretty big hurdle, which the hurdle for Kyokou was that it's a lose-lose situation, and she has to watch her own back at the same time because of the implications that lie on whoever she decides is the best theory that would persuade everybody that Goichi, their father, was responsible for the murder of their mother. Of course, as the revelations will continue, last episode we came to learn that all the children actually wanted their mother dead, including Leon's father. Because of course, remember that for her father, she is representing him since he is a cook, and this is just tedious stuff and he wants nothing to do with this. But as things unfolded and as Kyokou put things into play to let them kind of deck it out for that first hour, we found out that, you know, they don't really care so much about the inheritance. There's only one person who was also engaged with the company that would care the most, and that of course would be Susumu and his wife. So they were just kind of settle it out peacefully, but that wasn't going to actually bring us to the answers that Goichi wanted them to get to. And remember, at the helm of this, he is trying to get them to believe that, you know, he was responsible, and once the elements of supernatural or whatever is involved, he wants them to know that this isn't the appropriate way to go, because we need to remember this man is on his deathbed, he doesn't have a very long time to live, and he wants to make sure his inheritance can go somewhere. And so he's decided, since he has lived with the guilt all this time, that he used an Ayakashi to kill his wife, and Ayakashi that we know is going to be severely punished for those actions of taking on that type of task. It's just one of those things now where he wants to make peace with the situation, and he chose the best suitable candidates for it. It just doesn't help when most of the suitable candidates want nothing to do with an inheritance or even wanting to believe, let alone this late into the future, that this stuff is happening. You know, there were some pretty great things, though, that transpired last episode. Obviously, the biggest revelation was the fact that all three of the children, they actually had their own schemes in place, particularly with the scheme with Susumu and his brother, the brother that he really despises and hates because of their differences on this type of stuff. They were just tired of the meddling that their mother had been doing in their life. And before they could actually execute that, as we know, the scheme behind Goichi and the Ayakashi had already been put into play. And before they could enact their plan, their mother was already dead. So we did have quite a bit of revelations play out at that point. Obviously, we saw Kyokou kind of get called out by Leon because she was getting really sick and tired of Kodakou's shit and the way she was talking. And just, again, Kyokou being, on paper, a pretty terrible person, because that's her personality. She's very direct, cutthroat, and make sure she cuts straight deep into the skin. It was just very interesting because we saw that there were so many different schemes at play, and ultimately all of these schemes were at play because the mother was just an absolutely horrible person. So at this stage in the game, now that the confessions are out there, it is now time for us to return to the topic that was at hand. Because remember, we weren't sitting here trying to deal with confessions of the brothers or, you know, the family members. That wasn't the point of this. The point of this is to paint the picture on Goichi, which now means we have to bring ourselves back. But it was definitely a very interesting episode. I did like all the dialogue that happened between the two, between all the parties that were involved. I actually didn't think it was really overly wordy at all because it was very important information for this arc. And now I'm interested to see what theories are going to come up, and if those theories are going to wrap up here, or if we're going to have a new hurdle thrown at us basically based on what the title was telling us might be the case as we go about the episode. So that's what I got for you guys. guys. I hope you did enjoy last week's episode, and again, I hope that you are enjoying the season so far. You know, I've said week after week, I had my preferences, particularly with the events of the earlier parts of the episodes, but I do think that this is a pretty decent arc now, and I'm really anxious to see how this is going to tie up. So I'm going to go ahead and get the episode pulled up here. It'll be a split second for you guys, and when I come back, we'll get this reaction started. All right, y'all, I am back, and I have the episode pulled up, so we're going to go ahead and get this started. Again, the title of this episode is Uninvited Judge. So let's go ahead and start the episode reaction in 3, 2, 1. All of your sins are trivial. Exactly. She was like, that's not what we were here for. I mean, literally, she had to reel them back in. Like, she's like, I'm sorry that you all are feeling these sins now, but I'm here on a very specific thing, and all of your sins about wanting to kill y'all mother is not what I care for. So, and again, I think the biggest thing is for Leon, because I know she's just sitting here like, what the hell is actually going on? Also, the funny thing that her attire compared to everybody else seems so out of place too, so. I just want more Rika, honestly, at this stage. Is that so bad? Is that so much to ask for? Everybody's sweating bullets in here now, too. And she does not like Kyokou at all. My man's like, I'm just tired. I'm done with this. I wish to go back to work. Bruh. Shall we not? Uh-huh. She want to do the nasty. Uh-huh. I mean, especially in something like this that has to do with a murder case such as deeply involved as this one is. Yeah, appropriate false solution. I completely agree. Yeah, she's like, I should not be here at all. And she wouldn't know. There's no way in hell she would know. And now she's learned firsthand that that is true. She just cared about the business. Yes, I mean, and that's typically always how it is. You just carry on the things that you're given for generation and generation, never caring about your own happiness. I mean, she had to turn that way somehow. Right. Because there was no love associated with that anyway. Yeah, when you're indoctrinated in something like that, it just is what it is. Which brings us to where we're at now. Yeah, which is the reason he's not present here to start with. Yep, she's just been feeding you little snippets here and there. Deep conversation, but it makes sense. She was already starting to add stuff up together before she even asked. At all. And of course, being the youngest one here, that's just how it goes. Well, yeah. I mean, in the realm of lies that are being told right now, it would make sense. If she wanted out too. Mm. Only issue though with the suicide thing is that this wouldn't have anything to do with Goichi, so and there are certain places of the world where that's all the more true. I mean, it's definitely a nice twist. I'm just interested to see how it's going to play out now. Oh, hold on. Okay, I think I know how this is going to end now. Unless anyone was watching from any real vantage point. Yeah, I gotta tell you, to stab yourself a second time, that takes a lot of commitment. See, and that's what I was wondering, or if he was even just in on her own plan. I mean, it could float either way. Either he did that, or she asked him. It could go either way. It's since we're riding with this lie. It's a nice story you chose to go with. Especially since this session has revealed their sins, which was definitely not planned. Yes, it was. Like, she's the most straightforward about this. Like, she's... Oh. I love this girl. Yes, I love this girl. She's not amused by this compliment. Pretty much. And it's worked out flawlessly. Thanks to the directness and perception of Eon, we now can move forward with this great lie. She just seems like she's still up to something, though. Unacceptable. Please stop. Wow. Damn. What's she about to say? Wait. Oh, and now! No, he's just making peace with it all. Which would then... Damn, she's just... Yo, she's just negating everything! She twisted it back! And now that, thanks to the way that she ran the entire the entire session here, she was now able to twist it back, courtesy of her being stern and committed, and now them kind of having their own form of resolution, and she'll have a little bit of trust now. So, again, in ways that only Kyokou does, and so the unexpected judge, the one that they mentioned in the thing, the uninvited judge, is none other than Kyokou. She's about to mess everything up now. I can't wait to see how she's going to word this. Is she going to word it that it was on him? Is she going to bring the Ayakashi into it? I don't exactly know. This is Kyokou, so you know that she's going to find a way to spin a lie into the truth here. But since we're already riding a lie, might as well keep riding that lie further, so... Okay, guys, so basically, in case we are just a little bit confused there, the reason that Kyokou has jumped in there, at least based on my perception of the reason that she is intervening now, is because he chose a method that the way he went about it helps him avoid having to, really have to deal with any of the grief that anyone else is dealing with. He's accepted things for what it is, but he has no regrets about what he did. And I think that's what it comes down to, because remember, too, Kotoko knows the real reason that the mother has ended up dead. And so even though the entire goal was to allow the children to kind of, and of course, the grandchild, who ended up being the one to come up with the answer, which I expected she was going to be the one to come up with the answer, we need to now go ahead and switch it to that final, that final push, that final course of action that's going to have to be taken so that everyone can truly actually be at peace and the truth can really be out there, including Goichi himself. And so as of such, Kotoko has now decided to take action as a judge that was not supposed to be judging. All she was supposed to do was to be regulating the conversation and presenting the findings of that conversation while sprinkling a little bit of logic in here and there. And now that she's chosen to go this route, of course, this now goes against everything Goichi thought that she was going to do. And I am very interested to see what her revelations to everybody is going to be next episode. So, regardless of that, obviously, the number one of this episode definitely will go to Leon, and I expected it was going to go to her as the youngest person here, as the person who really didn't know her grandmother like that, and is again finding all this out for the first time. A lot of it just didn't make any sense, and from the sounds of it, it just sounded like everyone was a victim. That everyone, and again, in actuality, everybody was a victim. And there were some major points that were made that it's very hard, it's very easy to forget when it comes to people who are born into money, they're born into success. It's not as easy as it appears. And for some of those people, they might have to uphold a really high pedestal that even they themselves may not have been able to want. They may not have been willing or had wanted or had a desire to uphold. And you always want to believe that at the heart of all parents, that the love for their child and for wanting to see their children be successful is first and foremost. Obviously, the reality of that, both in anime and real world, is that's not always the case, and we have our fair share of bad parents, especially in the anime world of things. So it would not surprise us if she just was an awful parent. But if this was a lie that was being presented to me, and it was told that it was basically a guilty conscience that led her to wanting to off herself, and it just so happened that Goichi may have given her that extra push because he might have wanted to have his own ulterior motive, then that theory would completely add up and her story completely checks out. But since we know that's not all that is present before us right now, obviously it was going to end a little bit too good, and Kotoko just wants to stir things up a little bit more. But regardless, I think Leon had a wonderful presentation. I think that she presented a very solid argument, an argument that, again, Kotoko was very proud of. She knew that she had left enough little pieces here and there, enough little bits of evidence, and she knew that out of the bunch that were here, that she would probably be the one to come to the resolution of that. So it comes down now to what are the revelations that Kotoko is going to say next episode, now that she is officially choosing to fully interject herself in this debate, now that she has earned some kind of trust with the rest of them. She's managed to somewhat get Orion to actually show just a little bit of weakness or a little bit of vulnerability, which means she's softening up a little bit to Kotoko being present now, and with all those keys at play, now she can actually take action to be able to handle this case once and for all. And I guess we'll see next week how that's going to wrap up, because we definitely did not wrap it up this week. And since this is episode 11 and this is a 12 episode show, 12 episodes? Yep, 12 episodes. I guess it does mean that we're going to take this to the very end. So I already have, there's only really one big thing that I want to say, and that probably is going to be, has nothing to do with what's happening in this arc, but it is basically going to be the lack of Rika. We had her one episode presence, and now she's gone again, and it's clear that this season has chosen to be focused elsewhere, more on story-by-story arcs, and kind of pushing that off until a later time. I can only assume that probably by the end of episode 11, episode 12, we'll see the lead up. It also more or less confirms that we'll probably be having a season 3 announcement shortly after. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to start slowly but surely really picking apart different plot points from the 10 episodes we've gotten so far. As I tell you guys, these are really raw reactions, and I don't really start deciphering stuff for season ratings until it starts getting to the last 2 episodes. And so now that we're at the last 2 or 3 episodes, and we just finished the 3rd to the end, we have 2 more episodes to go. I'm going to start really picking apart certain plot points here and there. And, you know, I'll start letting you guys know next week how I think my rating is getting ready to shape up. So let me know what you guys think. How are you feeling about this arc? Do you like the events of this? Do you think that this is just pushing on an arc that you just want to end? Definitely let me know, and I will see all of you wonderful people next week when the next episode comes out. So if you did like the reaction, consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. And if you want to be one of the first to be notified when a new reaction becomes available, hit the bell icon. And so I'll see all of you guys next weekend for another episode of Spectre Season 2, the 11th episode and the pre-finale. And until that time, catch you later.